So if you are highly sensitive, empath, or introvert, as you might label yourself, in today's video, I'm going into social anxiety. So continuing with the series this week around anxiety, I'm jumping into social anxiety. And it was one of those things that I did not realize there was even a word for social anxiety. And I knew that I, for years, felt incredibly awkward around going to events and around groups of people. I just didn't, not even awkward, like I did not want to go. So I didn't even realize that there was this word social anxiety. And we can have it to differing degrees of like, it's debilitating. We cannot even leave our house, to go out and do these things to, okay, I can actually do this today, and it might even depend on the different events. For me, I can travel around the world, I can book flights, and I can go and do these things that seem, like just me going off on my own doing these things. But I would get to the location wherever I was, and then I couldn't even leave the hotel, So there were times when it was so overwhelming of these feelings that I couldn't even, like leave or do the things. I would eventually get out of the hotel, but it took a lot of work to actually get there. So the things that I've learned over time for me is that I felt that, especially like when I traveled, and I'll bring this around to different gatherings or parties as well. But when I traveled and I got somewhere, I didn't know the rules of the place. Like, it's a different culture. They have different ways of being. They didn't, they expect different things, and I want to fit in. And that was one of the things for me of wanting to fit in, wanting to be liked, wanting to, be part of the group and belong. But I didn't realize that even me just being me would allow me to go to these things. Like, I had to change myself to fit in. And what I mean by changing myself is that I would go somewhere, and again, all of this is subconscious. I didn't even realize I was doing it most times. Like, I would go somewhere and I would assess the room and be like, who do I fit with? Do I, meld with these people? Can I, like mold myself to be part of this group? And so, of course, like when I'm traveling and I'm in a different culture, I might look very different. So already I don't fit in, but I still wanted to. So I still wanted to make sure that I met the rules or I did the things a certain way so that I wasn't wrong or seen as stupid or dumb, and still liked. So in this sense, when you think about social anxiety, there's these underlying fears of wanting to be liked, wanting to possibly not look stupid or be wrong. And for me, a lot of it too was wanting to be good enough, that it's like I wanted to be seen in a certain way that people would like me and would see me as possibly an equal, or I was good enough to be part of this group. And so I would go to these places and I'm like assessing everything outside of me and learning how I need to fit into this. And over time, what I realized was that I was always trying to, like look outside of me for who I was, for defining not only who I was, but how I needed to be in those groups. But I was never happy. Like, I would leave many of these different events unsatisfied. So it got to a point where it was kind of like, do I even want to go to these? Like, I really don't. I don't want to go to these events. They don't make me happy. And so over time, I ended up becoming more and more independent as well, because I enjoyed just me. I enjoyed the things that I like to do. I didn't enjoy having to change myself to be what others wanted around me. So I bring all of that up because as I started to step into myself and who who I am and learning actually what I like in myself and what I love in myself and the things I like to be, I get to go to events that I actually really love and I really enjoy. And I don't have to change myself to fit into those things. So what I offer up is starting to find what you love and who you are on the inside. And then those things on the outside, those things that, were possible social anxieties before, you don't have to change. You don't have to be any different in those groups. And I say all that, and I still do have things where I'm kind of like, oh, do I have to go to this today? I really don't want to go. Like like there's still things in myself that I'm processing and working through, and being able to really stand in my own and be okay with, not everyone is gonna like what I offer. Not everyone is gonna be my cup of tea either, so I cannot mold myself and fit myself into every single situation and please everyone's needs. I actually don't want to anymore either. Like I really want to be happy in myself and authentic in myself. So again, what I offer up is to start finding those things in yourself, those joys, those loves, what really brings you pleasure. And if the people you're around are not seeing those things, meeting those things in you, are they right for you? Like, there are other people out there in the world that actually will love those things in you, that will meet those things in you and really love those things about you. So, social anxieties. Do you want to change yourself to meet their needs? Do you need to? And what self-talk do you have as well when you're in gatherings and with people? One other thing I noticed was many times the studio I was working at, they had like a Friday beer o'clock or something, and everyone would get up from their computers and go over to the kitchen area and, dining area and be talking and hanging out. And I hardly ever went to this thing because I so worked up about like interacting with these people. And at a certain point I did, and I was talking with one of the gals that I didn't really know very well, and the entire time in my head the self-talk was, she doesn't really want to be talking to me. Like, I need to leave this, like really, I don't think anyone wants to talk to me. And so what is your self-talk? If that person is standing there talking to you, they actually probably are curious to get to know you. And they probably do, are curious about your stories. But because my self-talk was around, oh yeah, she really doesn't want to know me, she doesn't want to talk to me, then of course, it's like, I'm gonna be like, I'm out of here as quick as I can be. So notice your self-talk. How are you interacting with those people in the group? And notice how your body feels. Notice, if you're in gatherings with people, how does your body feel? Changing the self-talk will actually help change the feeling in the body too. But if there is a feeling of like, this group is so not for me, is it right for you? Is it the right kind of group that you want to be interacting with? So this week over on my Patreon page, the link is in the dialogue below. But this week I am going into different ways of connecting with yourself in your body with anxiety and working through it, connecting with it. So do feel free to jump over to the Patreon page and check that out. And thank you again. I'm AmyC with You Finding You. And if you are enjoying this series, do hit that like, share, and subscribe button below. And I'll see you in the next video.